And if anybody wants to come, they can. Oh, I need chapstick. Isabella, Izzy, my daughter. I was gonna have her get me some chaps. Oh, here we go. Just let me know when you guys want the code. Sorry, if I can put this on my TikTok. It will not be used with my mic. My mic is for my TikTok, not for my YouTube channel. I sold my Yeti mic to get this mic, which was more of a expensive condenser mic. But I think I'm gonna get my Yeti mic again. Okay, I'll give you the code. Again, everybody, it's Friday, and we're going to Zoom with our community on TikTok. I'm going to give an invite now. Okay, so please write this down. Meeting ID 790-0441-6141. And the meeting passcode is 52Q0WU, all uppercase. Okay, so if you would like to Zoom with us tonight, the meeting ID on the Zoom is 790-0441-6141. The meeting passcode is 52, all uppercase, Q0WU. And I'll wait for you guys to come. We just read the 9th chapter of White Fragility. And I have to say, we learned a lot from it pertaining to the actions made because of white fragility. And we know that we have friends that are white and aren't fragile, right? Because they are accepting, this characteristic that exists in society and are open to be more so of an ally of people of color than an ally of racism. So, are you guys having trouble getting into the Zoom? Were you, Josh? You guys having trouble getting to the Zoom? Hi. Hello. How do? Okay. Okay. The number is invite. The number is 790-0441-6141. And the meeting passcode is 52, all uppercase, Q0WU. But Donna's here. What are you doing today? We just read a book, the 9th chapter out of 12. And now we're going to Zoom. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Are you here?
Hello. I'm here.
Okay, perfect.
Nice to see you guys.
What did you say? Are you here? Okay, perfect. We got Jadarin. If I'm echoing, then someone needs to turn off their mic.
Nice to see you guys.
Hi. So your mic is like reverbing. You're talking you talk once and then your voice comes on again saying the same thing.
Okay, so should I turn off my mic from
Yeah,
TikTok?
maybe.
Okay, let me try that. Is this a book club? I have a. Should I turn off my mic? Hold on.
Oh.
Okay, let's see how that is. Okay. You asked, is this a book club? I have a community where we've been reading. If you want to call it a book club, you can, but I would say we have more so of an intellectual community that is open to reading, and just by default, it can be called a book club, right, LaDonna?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm excited about the book stuff because I got a bunch of books on tape that I haven't even started yet, which Cast is one of them. So, but I've heard so many good things. It was on Oprah's book club, and so.
You know what, LaDonna, you have the baton of leadership at any room, at any time. I have to admit, sis, that, reading is something that I have a challenge with. I have PTSD, I have anxiety. And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, these are things, I know for sure that I have PTSD, but I've never been diagnosed adult attention deficit, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure I have it.
Oh, really?
So when I read, and you're like, you're crazy, but I'm like a functioning crazy person. Yeah. So when I read, it's like I get overwhelmed with the pages. I'm just like,
well, yeah. I mean, you're reading out loud. It's different when you read to yourself.
Right. And
Yes,
honestly, I find it more productive for me. I don't know why.
Andrea, I'm gonna have to give Alex the code. So I'm on my iPad currently, so I'll give her the code.
Okay, thank you, John.
Okay, I have you. I'll hook you up.
Okay, thank you. So what I'm gonna say is, I have a better, more productive experience when I read the way that I do with you guys in a group setting than with myself, because I get distracted.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to you giving us all of your direction pertaining to the books that you read on the subjects. Now, the books that you are open to with Oprah, are they related to societal subjects?
Not all of them.
Definitely not
all of them. I mean, I have a bunch of books, and some of them are on societal, racism or prejudices or whatever. But this just happened to be one that my sister and my cousin and my uncle told me about,
There we go.
So I was like, because they know I'm interested,
Right. So can you tell me the other subjects that you're open to outside of societal change?
To be honest, I'm open to absolutely everything. I mean, I'm a huge, listen, to be honest, I mean, like one of my favorite genres in books is like horror and suspense. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. That's what
I love it.
But I also love educational books that kind of educate you or give you a different perspective about things.
So can I ask you a question, LaDonna? What is it about? Because I think we all, at some point in our lives here in America, especially, have a fetishization of the serial killers and the idea the idea of the process of someone losing their life, disgustingly.
Yeah.
But what is it about these books? Is it the suspense that you like?
Actually, for me, it's honestly, I don't know. I guess it's going to sound really weird, but I grew up in the church, and so I'm always most scared by things that are supernatural, that have to do with angels or demons or possession or something like that. So those are the ones that I actually want to watch. They're the only ones that scare me. And so
I love that.
It's so close to read, it's so close to a possibility,
Yeah.
And so it's like the worst thing I can do is go to a movie and watch a horror movie that's supposed to be so scary and not be scared.
Yeah,
that's the worst. It's like I've wasted my money.
I love that.
Watch a scary movie because
if you want to watch scary movies, guys, just do not watch this movie that I'm got to give you right now. Do not watch Megan is Missing, because
it's scary.
It's dumb.
Just don't watch it.
Okay, I won't.
Are you coming? What I want to say is I am obsessed with race science. I really don't enjoy Yeah, I really don't enjoy, believe it or not, although I can seem aggressive pertaining to politics online because I'm a
Yeah.
fighter of love, but I really don't enjoy talking about racism because as an African
Mhm.
American, I feel really defeated. I feel
Yeah.
like what am I going to do? But that doesn't stop me from speaking up because I
Yeah.
do believe that there are allies out there that can help. And
Oh yeah.
like I just want to be a part of a puzzle that could fix, what is, I don't know if it's going to happen in my life. It probably won't. But if
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
yeah, go ahead. What did you
We can
say?
be I said we can be hopeful, but
Right.
I think even if there is not a chance in the world that it's ever going to change in our lifetime,
Yeah.
I feel like it's still worth talking about in general on forums because you never know who's going to be in that forum,
Yeah.
what they're going to look like, how it's going to affect them. So
Yeah.
I think it's important to talk about it, even if you just don't have any any belief that
Intent,
it's ever
right.
going to, you might feel completely defeated, but
Yeah.
actually opening up and talking about your experience, I think, is just cathartic. It's just something that helps you work through things and helps other people see different points of view.
Right.
That's it. I
Exactly.
mean,
And LaDonna, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna share this on my YouTube channel because
oh no,
I don't know.
It's perfectly fine with me. I really don't mind. It's
Okay.
perfectly
They just
fine.
hear your voice, but I just feel like it's so important for people to understand that it's therapeutic because we've all had these experiences attached to
yeah,
being,
yeah,
did it differently. And so when we talk about it, it relieves and it's almost like what I was talking about when you repent, you like let go of a certain habit.
right.
So
Yeah.
there's all this hate that I have in the corporate world. Why
Mhm.
wasn't I given the opportunities? Why, why,
Right.
why? So when I talk about it and I learn about race science, I learn about prejudice, and I learn about,
Yeah.
I get more of an understanding, then it helps me
Mhm.
be a better person. So then I can go out into the world and
Mhm.
make people more accountable. And
Mhm.
also just never do it. Like, like
Right.
to be a part of the
Right.
mess. Teach
Exactly.
my
No.
kids to be better, because I do
Yeah.
believe that the Gen Zs, even
Yeah.
though I don't know why they're into the things that they're into. I can't.
Oh yeah.
I
Sometimes
don't
it's
think they're
big.
worried about race. They're worried about Roblox. And
Yeah.
Make
Exactly.
my mind go off because she keep asking for this code and
the kids are really into the virtual world. So, it's
Oh,
just
for
like,
sure. It's so funny. I'm just shocked at how desensitized the kids are now. Like stuff happens online that's like really awful and they laugh.
it's
I'm like,
terrifying.
Exactly.
how is that
Hi,
funny?
Exactly.
Bruce.
Hey.
Richmond. Yeah, it's terrifying knowing the desensitization that is
Yeah.
then also attached with racism. I mean, I still can't grasp, sis, that a man died last year,
Mhm.
George Floyd, no matter if he was a convict or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just cannot grasp that we saw, like I literally saw, and I know
Yeah.
everybody did, saw this man
Yeah.
take his last breath,
Yes.
and
It's
everybody was
insane.
defending the cop. I'm like, no, I was sitting in my car. Was I in my car? I was either in my
Well, I
car
must
or I
have
was like on my way to the gym. And when I saw him begging for his life, and it was just like,
yeah.
wow, like they're gonna kill this guy. And he knew
Yeah.
it. Right?
Right out in the open, no problems. No,
And we
just out
watched
in the
him
open.
murder, and like, they won't even put a movie out there in the world if it has the
Right.
slightest bit, says of gruesome. But yet we can watch a real life person be
Yeah.
murdered in the public eye. There was witnesses that
Yo,
watched the
everywhere.
murder.
Yeah.
And
Unbelievable.
everyone's just like, but he was a criminal.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. I was like, you must have been on a different website than me because everybody that I was chatting with were not defending the cop at all.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm talking
I
about
mean,
on a
I'm sure
virtual
that
level.
yeah, I'm sure that happened in some cases where people defended I don't know. I'm just guessing that there are people who would have defended the cop, but I didn't personally see that. I saw people on the opposite end of that
You are in
talking
a
about.
beautiful community, and I want to
Yeah,
move where you I
yeah,
think
I was like,
is that I live in a state that's very on the like it wasn't really like something you see in public, but because I've been
yeah,
on TikTok, and that's where I got most of my
yeah.
niche from, my most of my followers from. They came to my live and they would flood these MAGA hats, these people. Oh
Wow.
yeah, you weren't here when it was happening.
No.
Bruce was, but I would to be honest, I know right now my lives don't have a lot of people, mostly in the morning, a lot of people come, but I used to have hundreds and hundreds of people come flooding my lives with banter about George and his deserving it because,
Wow.
yeah, it was bad. It was really, really freaking bad.
That's actually really shocking.
Oh
and
yeah.
scary.
I can even show you a picture. I mean, if you just look down on my videos, I'll go a little bit lower.
Yeah.
I mean, you could really see it. The MAGA hats would say things like, but he was on fentanyl. He like, Candace Owens was infamous for this. She really.
Oh, Candace, I can't.
Yeah. We could go about Candace right now because she really.
You know what's interesting about her is that she's smart. She's a smart person, very intelligent, and she actually, like, in the middle of a sentence, there'll be a phrase that's actually true, that like makes sense. That's like really, really there.
Mm-hmm.
And then on both ends of that statement, it's a mess.
Exactly.
So it's like you can't finish a full sentence without there being some mess.
So
it's like, but there's
I've seen and I've studied her. So that is actually a book that I want to read. She has a book. Guess what? I'm a Black woman. I'm going to support her only by buying her book so I can dissect it and debunk it. Okay. So what I've seen her do, and I've studied her, I knew about Candace before I got on TikTok because I used to have I still have a podcast, but I'm a real estate agent and I've been really adamant about being a successful real estate agent. So I started a podcast and I found Candace somewhere along the lines. And I was like, oh my God, this lady is literally racist and she's Black. Like I mean, you can't even explain it other than that she talks, if you didn't see her skin color, you would think this is a racist white woman. But what I've noticed is her patterns. I've studied her and she always deflects. Deflection, Candace Owens. For instance,
I think she too.
well, she uses a script. She's intelligent only on the basis that she has followed a script and she's a really good public speaker. I would say this about Candace Owens. I admire her public speaking skills. It's admirable. It really is.
And she has a certain I don't know how to describe it, but she has a certain flair. I mean, she's like she's well spoken. There's something about her that seems like you have to pay attention to her intelligence. And I don't know if that's an act, something she's perfected, or if that's or if she really believes what she says. You know what I mean?
Oh, I believe all of it. Everything that you said.
She put some things out there, and it kind of just makes you see, like, some stuff that she says is mixed with some truth, and then there's some garbage. Then there's some truth. Then there's some garbage, and she's just,
That's exactly how I've experienced her. Exactly. Like I said, there's a statement in the middle that's just right on, but the front and the back are messed up.
So I believe that she, at some point, and she was a Democrat at one point. I believe at one point she did have the knowledge of, or maybe even the intent of doing good for the people of color. But I believe that she is paid and has been
endorsed. She's endorsed
to follow a script. And she has even said this at the Revolt, that she says the same script every time she's on
exactly. And I know
and then she just adds a few here and there's.
It's every time she has an interview, it's repetition.
Yeah, it's very repetitive. And it's very
it's either about social media, about abortion and Black babies, or something like that. She makes up, and it's just those two topics she's always seemed to talk about. And I'm not the one who noticing that.
So imagine this. This is the way that I see it. And the reason why I would love to meet Candace, even though she's my nemesis, is because I can look at her and I can see right through her. Okay. Because honestly, we have a lot in common. All right. I'm from an island, so I really had to train myself to learn how to be smart, and educate myself on how to talk, I've been around white people my whole life. I was the only Black girl in my whole school. Okay. I've been in an environment where it was just me. I've been discriminated against. I was raised by my grandfather. I grew up without my biological father. But the only difference between me and Candace is I never hear anything about my mom. See, my mom was very toxic. So, I understand Candace on a level to where I can say, but you got it wrong somewhere along the lines, because I don't know where you thought it was okay to use right-wing talking points. And now she's a freaking Republican. So it's either Candace, you really believe that our people are freaking stupid
Yeah.
or incapable, and conservatives do this. They love saying that we are brainwashed. They love saying that we don't know. And you know what that is? Because I did my homework. That is the Lily White movement.
Yeah.
The Lily White movement was created to make Black politicians look, demonize Black politicians and get them out of the power of voting. So she uses that. She uses the Southern strategy. She uses these scare. She mongers on scare tactics, on fear. She uses words of like slave language, like the plantation. And I mean, she just really.
Oh wow.
Oh yes, she says.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I said, I've only seen her a few times, so obviously I'm not studied on her. And I think part of the reason why I've only seen her a few times is because I have such a aversion to what she says that I don't even want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I'm obsessed with her because, like I said, if I could reach, my goal is 300,000 followers on TikTok. I'm going to request on her show somehow. I would love the opportunity to sit down with her because,
Andrea,
I
need to tell you something. If you really want to dig inside, like, and just find something to do, it's an electoral game called Yamps.com, and it actually gives you a background knowledge of electoral votes back then, and you should go and compare them to like in 1940 till now, and just study them. So I'm gonna give you the website.
Yeah, of course.
You said like the Electoral College.
I love that. I love learning about statistics. I love learning about Yamps.com. Okay, I love learning about all that. But the mere fact is, I don't think Candace Owens did her homework pertaining to being inclusive in her training.
I know that like she was talking about real heavy on Cardi B, and Cardi B, she Dominican, and her English isn't that good, and she's just like Dominican, she is Cardi, she's
yeah, I love when she goes though.
Yeah, she's not very well learned, like we would say. She's not very well learned, and Candace was just all over her and different things. But one thing that Cardi has, that Cardi knows how to like reach people. She knows how to reach people because people see something inside of her. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking about Candace or
Cardi B.
At
least she's
Cardi B was Candace was really talking about Cardi really bad and different things and that's what she does.
I saw it.
Is that she doesn't she won't take on somebody like Cornel
West and Candace
or Michael Tyson.
She did. She took on Cornel West. And let me tell you something. Sorry, I'm eating. I have a bad habit of snacking up. She was so rude to Cornel West on Fox News. I wanted to go through the screen and just bop her.
Well,
Cornel West is my idol. I just want to be in his presence. I love it. The guy is so smart.
I was going to tell you that.
Candace Owens says she thinks she knows too much and she doesn't know anything.
She sounds.
Her head, she'll be a much better politician and all.
And she's so disrespectful to her elders. My grandmother's from Texas. You don't do that, Candace. You don't disrespect Cornel West.
And the shocking thing is that you can go and you can kiss Trump behind. But where were you at when the Republican National Convention? Where were you? I just want to know, where were you at when that happened? If you love so much, if Trump loved you so much and you love him so much, where were you?
I agree.
Candace?
I agree.
Yeah, where was you, Candace? I just want to know because
they didn't even think enough of you to let you speak. You've been out there, carrying their water pail for them and stuff like that. And
and the thing is, I'm not saying that that Trump doesn't have it. Like it was other Black Republicans there, but I want to know where would Candace Owens.
What I want to know is this: how can any Black person become a Republican?
Well, look at it this way, Andrea.
No,
wait, hold on. Let me finish. Josh. Hey, Josh.
Josh,
let me finish
They get endorsed by other white Republicans.
Yeah, go ahead, Andrea.
let me just say something and then I'll let you guys talk. Just give me like 1 minute or two. What I want to know is how can any African American become a Republican knowing that they were against the civil rights movement from 1965? Which,
well, Andrew,
wait, hold on. How can any Republican become, how can any Black person become a Republican knowing that they were a part of the lily white movement? How can any Republican be Black? How can any Black person be Republican knowing the history pertaining to the Republican Party? Now, if the Republican Party was the same prior to the Civil Rights Movement, yes, you're absolutely right. That was the original home, and the KKK was the original home for the Democrats. You're absolutely freaking right.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
If that would have never
but I
changed,
need to tell you something. It's not about the KKK, and it has nothing to do with applying the KKK. I'm just saying in general. You have to think about, you have to go back, you know, I know that the Democratic Party has switched and it has changed, like all parties do change. Party's not going to say the same, you know, like Republicans were for Blacks,
True.
like the first
Yes.
couple of years that they were forming their party, because
Yes,
they were
true.
trying to, you know, try to get slavery apart, you know, so that type of junk. So then they started getting caught up in all this money and stuff. And then things started to switch when Nixon got in office, due to the fact that he did not support, and he got most of the white people, the white population's vote, due to the fact that he didn't support the civil rights movement. And Lyndon B. Johnson supported the civil rights movement.
exactly.
So it changes because it doesn't. They don't think about the party. They think about the personality and their personal traits and what they think about. So
Exactly.
I mean,
And they attach the whole, I'm Republican. Listen, the only, if you're a Republican and you're an African American person or a person of color, if you said these words to me, I am Republican because that is the original party of the African Americans, and I am there and only there to bring it back to its original state, which was a party for the Black people's deliverance and liberation, per the Emancipation Proclamation made by President Lincoln. I would be okay with that. That's a good answer. But if it has nothing to do with the Emancipation Proclamation, I swear to God, I want nothing to do with you.
No, it's kind of true. I mean, they have a lot of different tenets, but it's true that
can I
back in
say
the day,
something? I get a lot of this from Republicans.
Wait, hold on, Josh. 1 second. Let Donna speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that I agree with that too, with what you're saying, Andrea. But also, Josh, back in the day, it's true that democracy meant just that. It was, you know, majority rule, and the majority was white. So back in the day, Democrats were, you know, a different party than they are today. Very different. So back in the day, Republicans were the ones where the Black people aligned themselves a long time ago, but that party is so malleable. All parties are so malleable and so changing that over time, now what Andrea is saying is that the Republican Party of today, very different from the Republican Party back in the day.
Exactly.
Well, even Ms. LaDonna, back in the day, the Republican Party wasn't for Blacks. At least in 1970, and I can go back. We can go back to now. I get a lot of this. You voted for Biden because he was just a better version of Trump. Well, let's go back to 2016. Let's talk about how you guys voted for Trump and you didn't know nothing about him. He was once a Democrat as well. So you guys you voted for someone who was a former Democrat.
He switched parties straight out of convenience.
You did not know anything about Donald Trump before you got him in office. You voted for him because he was
just knew him from
star.
television. Yeah,
because he was on television. But you want to come back to what Joe Biden is saying because he was a nicer character than Trump. So you're telling me you voted for Trump because he was on television. So it goes both ways. I hope you know
they
that.
voted for Trump because he fit the narrative at which validated white superiority and really solidified, you know, what is it called? White solidarity. You know, there is a law that we don't see when it comes to white people being able to dominate. There's some rules and regulations that why are white people 90% in power of, you know, like Robin DiAngelo said, 90% power of all the major institutions, which is fine. There's more of them. There's going to be more white people. But
and it's also by design.
What'd you say?
It's also by design and has been structured that way for centuries.
Right. And that's what Robin DiAngelo said is that, you know, the white privilege is like just that, being a part of the inheritance of the power in numbers from the beginning. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, everything that we do in America has to meet the standards of the majority dominant race. That's a
Mhm.
freaking privilege. And that's a
Mhm.
freaking problem. And sorry if I'm saying freaking, but that's a problem because not every culture, not every race it has the same standards. So it's not really fair. It's not a fair system. Okay. It needs to have more diversity. Okay. And Donald Trump predated us back to before the civil rights movement that was gloating and promoting white supremacy.
Yeah. And all he really had to do was talk bad about other races. That's it.
I mean, he didn't even, most of the time, he didn't even do it. Like, yeah, I mean, all he did, you know what he did? He did exactly what Nixon did. He did the Southern strategy, and he only did it because he wanted
Oh,
to
Tim Scott. I know Tim Scott. May I add something? Because
Yeah.
He thinks he did everything for Black people, which I really want to see that. Like, not one Black person
No.
I know, including myself, has said,
Wait.
"Oh yeah, Trump changed my life."
Andrea, can I add something? Because what a person on the live asked, Tim Scott seems like a great man. Well, Tim Scott is a Black Republican. If you did not know, you should look him up and see what he's about. Tim Scott is a Black Republican. I
Yeah.
don't know if you know
So
about him.
after
He's a
reading,
senator in the
I will
state.
look him up. Tim Scott. I will look him up as a Republican. I love the diversity in Joe's cabinet. He has fast forward to modern day. Yes, True Patriot 1996. I did notice that Biden has made an adamant choice to diversify his campaign, his administration. I love it. But what I want to say this. So you think because he's a good, see, Dr. Robin DiAngelo says that America and society is stuck on the binary of good versus bad. Okay.
True.
The mere fact
And
is, if
individualism.
you are a person of color and you're part of a system, even if it's not you, he could be a good guy all day. But if
Yeah,
he's promoting
doesn't
a
matter.
party that is a part of being the power holder and maintainer of racism in our country systemically, then he is not a good person. He's not doing anything good for the people because, again, the power's in the numbers. And if there got more Black people that are voting Republican, and they're the ones that are promoting for systemic racism, which just means institutionally does not allow the access to be equity involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Inclusively.
Mhm.
Inclusively, it only allows a certain point. The token Black person is the most horrific. What do you call it? The most horrific system. That's what rule is it that only one Black person can be in a friend group? Only one Black person can be in a major movie role. Only one Black person can be on the block of a white neighborhood. Only one Black person. Only one Black person family. Get the hell out of here with that stuff.
Yeah.
So he can
And
be
that's
the
part
guy
of
all day, but if he's in the Republican Party and he knows for a fact that they are embedding and continuing and maintaining systemic racism in this country, and they are, he's part of the problem. I don't.
Yeah, and it's so funny. It's so funny you say that about the one Black person rule, because I mean,
Okay.
obviously Black people are a minority in this country, but at the same time, that's part of the problem because, you know, some white people don't have any Black friends, and you know, that's just how it is. I mean, there's obviously, and it's like the fact that you continually separating the same species because of their color is just going to continue to perpetuate separatism. It's just, and it's by design. I mean, it is by design. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now that I have, you know, white friends, and my white friends bought houses in a neighborhood that's mostly white, if not all white. And that's, you know, that's where they feel comfortable. I bought my house in a Black neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood, but it's a Black neighborhood, you know. Well, it's a neighborhood of color, I should say. There's Latinos.
Urban.
Yeah, it's in the urban. They back in the day when I was, because I'm in California, and back in the day, I used to party in the same neighborhood, and it was like straight up the hood. But now, you know, it's built up. There's lots of stuff going on. We got a Starbucks. So I bought my house over here partially because it was reasonably priced. And also because it's in a neighborhood where I feel comfortable. I see people who live with me. So that's part of the thing that's in all of our heads that continues to separate us. And I'm guilty of it too.
It's the comfortability.
Yeah.
And as a realtor, I find this very frustrating. Only reason why is there are laws in place that are supposed to protect everyone. And I do feel it's that comfortability that is jacking up the prices, that's dividing people into being in the districts and schools and places that they feel comfortable as far as their family goes. So for instance, my kids go to a school because that's where they grew up. It's predominantly white, but it's not that that school is better. It's just that that's where most of the people are that have money, and therefore everything around them is being drawn in. So it just looks better because of the non-stigmas. But what's unfortunate is that these little, these not little, but these towns that are labeled color towns, like urban cities, they really get the poor, they get the bad end of the stick systemically. People don't want to rent there. People don't want to live there. People don't want to go there. They don't want to have their kids there. So, so what happens? The prices go down, and then you get below poverty people, and then obviously that comes with maybe addiction, comes with other things. So, it's just that. What if you are a godly person, right? For instance, and you don't drink, and you really want to keep your kids safe, and you give them kisses and hugs, and you're a Black person, and you just want them to have the best education, but you can't afford to go in these white neighborhoods. So my whole point is this whole comfortability is what drives the market. Exactly. And the sellers are the ones running the show. So if you see a predominant area with white people and the prices are high, I just want to say you have to consider, are they trying to keep us out? And I have to say, as a real estate agent, I'm going to say, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they might try, but to be honest, nowadays people buy houses over the internet, but
right. Thanks to Zillow. By the way, Zillow just bought one of our big, Zillow just bought one of our huge tools called Showing Time, and all the agents are freaking out. They think Zillow's trying to push us out, but it's whatever. Go ahead. Real estate's a whole, it's a mess. It's a mess.
But what I was going to say is a lot of Black people, I mean, I think the latest number was 54% of African Americans in the United States are upper middle class, but nobody ever hears that number. You know what I mean? It's like, I bought a house by myself, and I'm like, granted, the house that I got, it was flipped, it was new and everything like that, but it's in a more urban area, so it was a little bit less than the place I really wanted to live, that has the great walking score and where all the white people live.
Yeah,
I was priced out of that area, but I'm by myself. But there are some people who are in families who have two incomes and can afford that place with a good walking score. So I'm not sure. I think it might be more comfortability than
price.
Money.
I hear you.
Price, yeah,
you're right.
But like I said, comfortability is something that separates us, even me, because I want to buy in this neighborhood to be comfortable.
Right, but I really want to dent society and to get rid of the comfortability, because having more than 2 Black families on the block shouldn't make people uncomfortable. But the mere fact is, if it's about comfortability, then white people don't feel comfortable with us. At some point, as an African American person, we have to say and identify, well, this is the dominant race, and that's not going to change today. What can we do to just be one step ahead to make people feel comfortable? For instance, even as an African American person, I don't want your son to have his pants sagging down to his freaking, in Hawaiian, we say okole. When I say Hawaiian, I'm Hawaiian, I'm culturally Hawaiian, I'm from Hawaii. African American people are there, just so the world knows. But I don't want your pants sagging down in the public area. Or you're looking, T.R.A. Rice, who died because he had a hoodie on. I'm not saying not to wear a hoodie, but until we can get white people freaking comfortable, unfortunately, we might have to tell our sons to maybe wear a jacket with the hoodie, or maybe a different type. I don't know, but something has to change with us to make them feel comfortable. And I know there are Black people out there that are saying they're not doing shit. And I'm not gonna do shit, that. But I'm telling you, maybe, just maybe, because other cultures do it right. Indian people, Asian people, they come here, they do their education, they stick with each other, they support each other, and guess who gives them all their money?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean,
People.
yeah, I agree. I speaking specifically of Asian people, it's not like I know a lot on this subject, but I know that in Asian culture, well, Korea, for example, their school system is way tougher than ours. I mean, way tougher. I mean, I've spoken to Korean people who come here and they're automatically put in AP classes because they're so far ahead of all of our students in that grade. Sometimes they're skipped 2 grades ahead or 3 grades ahead because they got most of their education in Korea. And in Korea, they go ham on education. So by the time they get here, they're like, basically, they're supposed to be in high school, but they're college level, you know?
Now, what I want to say is I did grow up around Korean people and all Asians because I'm from Hawaii. That's why I speak Japanese. And, I struggled being in school with them because they were freaking smart. Now, but they love, honestly, I can say with Asian people, I don't care what anybody says, in America, love Black people. If we partner with them to get their curricular instead of trying to get the American curricular, I'm telling you, we're going to change the game in our schools. If we can have some type of program to adopt their what's the right word? Their curriculums, have it transferred into our schools, and maybe even their teachers, maybe they can have a program so that they can get maybe a green card or something like that. I'm telling you, you would see a whole nother level.
Oh yeah, no, I completely
But it has to start from a young age because
I agree.
That's true.
Because as an African American person, if you would have came to, the way I was raised, even in Hawaii, if you came in high school, I'm already in my ways. But if you start from a young age, and get uniforms, are so.
Yeah, I agree completely. There's a lot of Black people who go to Korea to teach. Okay, they go to Korea to teach, to spend that time abroad, to maybe learn Korean and to get with the curriculum. Now, if by any chance there was some altruism there and they came back to bring that to the Black community,
that would be amazing.
The kids would be so far ahead, but I don't know that we're collectively that organized. But usually an individual.
But all of these things that you notice, which that's amazing that you said that, because we're not. We have to own our issue. And you know what? It's not our fault because there was so much of a chunk of time that education was ripped from us. 246 years of enslavement, 402 years this year of oppression that we kept out. And now we're supposed to catch up.
And what's
go ahead.
And that's just crazy. I just find us amazing in general because that did happen on purpose.
Yeah, there's a picture of an African American male that just really got my soul. He's in the corner. He got into a high elite school, but it was during the Jim Crow law era, and they let him in, and he had to sit in the corner away from all the students. But he can sit in the class. I think, like, really?
Yeah. And the thing about it is, because of his upbringing, he probably prevailed, even though. Yeah, just absolutely. Like so many of us have prevailed, even though.
Right. But education.
So that's a testament.
Yep. You said what now?
That's a testament then, I think, to our culture. I mean, even if we're disorganized, even if, there's a lot of systemic racism, we still rise and in front of all the odds that other people didn't even have to face.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing for us to recognize and move from.
We are less than a minute. You said it, LaDonna.
You did.
You said it. Like, mic drop.
Exactly.
It's so true.
It's gonna shut out soon, but LaDonna, Josh, Bruce, what a blessing. I'm gonna share this on my YouTube channel so that the world can hear the good words that you just said, LaDonna.
That's awesome.
And Josh.
That's awesome.
And Bruce Richmond.
Josh is always on top of it, and that's
yes. So you